This feature is brought to you by Brothers Habet.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
I think the view of many persons is that wealthy kids or only wealthy kids come to SCA and they assume they're wealthy, they have perfect lives going on at home, they're all willing to work hard to earn all A's. And while that is true of many students, it is not the case for all of them. And I remember in my first years as principal, especially that first year when we looked at the students who couldn't afford to be there, and students who we would have to decide what we would do with them if they can't pay their fees. It was such a sad thing because you realize that the students were not at fault. They wanted to come to school, they wanted to learn. School was a good place for them to be, but the families couldn't afford it.
Originally, I wanted to go to EPR. I was at St. John Vianney, and my sister, she was going to the Muslim Community Primary School, but we were in the same class, just different schools, and we thought that it would be a good thing for us to be both at the same school at the same time. But when I went to Center 6, a girl who I knew was going to SCA, I really loved the uniform. I never saw the uniform before. I was like, that uniform is pretty cool. And so I told my sister, what if we go to SCA together? She's like, I don't want to go to that school. I said, well, I will still apply. But in December of 2008, my father passed away. So I really didn't want to go to school, and like my whole dream for SCA was practically like dead, because I knew that my mom couldn't afford for us to go to the school. My mom has 10 children, 6 girls and 4 boys. And at that time, 2 of my older brothers were going to high school already. So we knew that it was going to be a strain on her. So my uncle, he actually told my mom that he would take us to Honduras and he would raise the girls and then my mom could stay with the boys. But she said, being that my father had already passed away, she didn't want to split the family because, you know, it'll just bring the depression that she had, you know, to a different level. And so I started to take children to school and from the neighborhood, and they used to pay me 50 cents every time I take them, bring them back, that's another 50 cents. And so I used that money to save for the application, because like I still wanted to go, but like I knew it was like not possible. So I said, well, even if I just got an acceptance letter, I would be happy. And then, well, EPR, well, my choice to EPR kind of leaned more because I knew that the tuition fees was less. And I think that my mom could have managed that.
Growing up, I'm the eldest of 7 children. My mom was a single parent at the time. We grew up in the south side of Belize. At that time, she was a janitor at Custom. So, you know, the finance wasn't coming in and we didn't have no other support. So I have always been a top student at St. John Vianney. That's the primary school where I graduated from. And I really was in need of a scholarship because we had no way of how I would pay to go to high school. During summers, I would go on find a job during the summer to help, because I was determined I need to finish school. I want to be somebody in life, you know. I don't want to work as hard as my mom used to work. So I applied to SCA. We were looking at our list, not sure what we would do to help the students that needed help. And then Bishop Martin was the bishop at the time. And he called and he said, I have someone who is going to come visit you. And I was like, sure, Bishop, you know, obedient. I was sure, I will make sure I can have the visit with them. And he sends over Jim Kavanagh, star fellow, white man. And he comes and he had his arm folded, if I remember correctly, just looking around. I don't know what was on his mind, but he said they do a project to support Catholic charities, and he was just looking and just having a conversation, not really making a commitment or even letting me know this is what they were about. And I said to him, well, you know, I thought about different projects that we could do or that we wanted to do, but most pressing at that time was the need to keep the students in the school, the ones who couldn't afford it. And I believe it was, if not that hidden, right the day before, where we had a student who's a mom who was dying of cancer, and she came struggling up that step. I could still remember her. She had on short pants, and she had a hand that couldn't go, like she couldn't put her hand down. And she told us that she couldn't afford to pay her daughter's fees, and she wanted an SCA education for her daughter. And I said, we will see what we can do. We will not turn our back on your daughter. But I didn't know where we would get the money from. At that time, you know, the school was struggling with, in some ways, financially.
One of the mission for Cross is to support Catholic institutions such as dioceses, Catholic schools, and so forth.
When Mr. Kavanagh and I spoke, I don't know, I recall telling him, you know what, we need some money, we need scholarships for the girls. I said, there are some students who really need help. Without the help, they wouldn't be able to succeed. And he said, well, let's see what we can do. And I don't know, it was just like the Holy Spirit that made it so, like all the pieces came together. I think his willingness to, he's looking for a charity, not sure what, Bishop Martin having the idea to send him to us, and then the need of our school, like all the three things collided. God just put it like that. And he said he would let me know. And if I recall correctly, he called back and said he had the money for the scholarships that we needed.
When Jim walked into Miss Tillett's office, and Miss Tillett told him about those girls that she had, that well, she didn't have any funding for the scholarship, and she was praying God to send a donor to help those girls so she can continue supporting those girls with those scholarships. And Jim asked Miss Tillett how much it would cost to continue to sponsor those girls. Miss Tillett gave Jim the number, and he spontaneously said, yes, we will support those girls. And sure enough, when Jim left Miss Tillet's office, he called his office back home and said to his assistant, well, I don't know how we are going to do this, but I just promised St. Catherine Academy's principal that we are going to support a scholarship that they have with the girls, and with an amount that I'm sure that we don't have. Yes, his assistant turned around and told Jim, well, I guess we are praying the same God as Miss Tillett, because a donor just called in and pledged the exact amount of money that we promised Miss Tillett that you would give him for the scholarship.
filling out the application for SCA, they had this portion if you needed financial assistance. And so I stick yes, and I just put, a little background story. I mean, I didn't expect to get a call, but I did. And so I told my mom, and she's like, well, we should try it, but just don't keep your hopes up. I don't want to make you feel that, you're going to go there if we can't afford it. So it's like, okay, we just give it a try. And we went for the interview. I believe, Mr. One of the things that you focus on was my math grade for PSC. I got, I believe, an 85 point something. I'm not sure, but something. It was a bit high. And so, we spoke and we, gave our background story, and she already had all my, report cards and so forth. And then she said that, you would get a call, so for an update. And so we went home, and then I believe that is the first time I actually prayed on my own, and then I asked God, I would really, really love to go to SCA, but I know my mom can't afford it. So if you could really do something about it, I would appreciate it. And the day we had orientation day, we got the call that I got the scholarship. I was cloud nine. It's really an unexplainable feeling, actually. Because I'm like, man, out of a lot of people, I actually got picked, and so it was super cool, and I was pretty excited. And that's practically where my journey, into SCA, that's how we got there.
I wasn't really thinking about the financial part because I know there were scholarships you can apply for. But I didn't get no response from any other scholarship besides when my aunt contacted Miss Tillett at SCA. And she told my aunt about the scholarship, but you need to work 1 hour after school, and they provide the books, everything. So the only thing my mom need to worry about our uniforms and stuff to go to school. We end up come and we meet with Miss Tillett, and she gave us the rules, and she told us we need to maintain I think it was a 75 average. And they called us in a month before school, give us all the books, everything, and I got in a scholarship, and for the 4 years I maintained the GPA. I worked every day after school, and it was minor work, help out at the convent, or help clean the yard, or help the decorating community, or with the libraries. Most of the time it was at the library, doing the filing down there, or placing back the books.
Well, there was times that I thought that, I couldn't meet up to certain stuff like projects and stuff, especially where the financial part is, for my mom to find that money to because we didn't have internet, so I had to go to an internet cafe that was about a half an hour walk, because, we don't have bikes, we don't have cars or anything like that. And so, I decided to help my mom. What my mom used to do for a living, she used to recycle bottles. And so I would get up in the evenings, in the mornings, and in the evenings after I leave school, I would help her wash up the bottles, and so she can have them prepared and have someone sell it on her behalf to either Bowen & Bowen or Travelers. Compared to my brothers and sisters, they were a bit ashamed, but I knew that was what brought food to the table. That was what was paying for my mini projects and stuff. I felt that there's something about when you pray, you just feel relief, that something you're worried about, you don't have to worry about again. And I would feel that whenever I would ask God for help, And then something like always came up, like someone would come to my mom and be like, oh, I have like some pantry, you know, you can have these, you know, I had extra and so. And that's how, you know, we got by. In our church, we had like missionaries who would come from the US and so. And they were really good friends with my dad, so like they would bring down school supplies for me and my brothers and sisters, and it was nice, you know, the help.
This scholarship really helped a whole lot. My mom, entering first farm, they gave my mom, that was I went there in 1999. Entering first farm, they gave her 3 months to live. My mom lived 11 years after that, you know. And the 4 years, she couldn't help me because most of the time she was sick. And it was hard. SCA is really a hard school if you don't have the support. I used to work at Brody's every day. After I finished my 1 hour at school, I go to Brody's and I work also. There were 7 of us and I had to help her send the rest of my siblings to school. And after high school, you know, role changed. My mom died and I didn't finish sixth farm. 2018, yeah, I went back to school. I went to UB and now I'm a nurse. You know, I did my nursing degree. I used to think about life and I say, God, you made me. You know exactly what I would have gone through, you know. And if this is what you wanted me to experience, and when you look at it, like now looking at it, that experience makes me who I am. That experience makes me know that I can do anything I want to do regardless of what's the obstacle. After 20 years of graduating from school, I'm here now and I'm a nurse. You know, I went back to school. So that's the living proof that nothing, I have 2 kids now and I went to school. I mean, you have to believe in God because that's the only way you can get through. That's the only way you can move forward from everything you've been through in life. Somebody had to be there holding your hands and pulling you along the way. You know, it's not something that just happened.
I am currently a junior supervisor at Heritage Bank, customer service. I've been working there for almost 6 years.
At high school, I didn't want it to be a nurse. My dream job was to work at the bank, have my high-waist skirt and my matching purse and shoes, you know, that was my dream job. But life changes as you move along, you know. And after I had my second child, I did the Red Cross course. I applied at the hospital. I worked there 6 years before I went back to school. I got study leave through them. I got study leave and I went to school. So I did the practical nurse course. That only take 2 years. I did that. I didn't want to do the big jump where you will do 4 years because I say it's been long. I've been out of school, so I did the practical nurse. But from I start working at the hospital, then I realized that was my call. I realized that people really need people that truly care. I mean, caring for someone, you don't have to be family or friend or related in any kind of way, you know. Just caring for someone is just to be genuine. People just want somebody genuine to be there, to empathize with them with their pain that they're going through, and just to be there. And right now, I'm at the neonatal intensive care. That's not where I really wanted to be because I wanted to be at medical or surgical, where I feel like I would be more productive. But at the neonatal intensive care, babies need love too. You know, regardless how small they are, you can make a difference in somebody else's life. I want to do the midwifery course also. I want to be a midwife. I don't know. I feel like I'm just going as far as I can go, you know. Whatever I have in my head, nobody can take from me.
When my father died, I felt like everything just, you know, like, because I didn't know what it was to need something, you know, because I could be like, Dad, I want this, or Dad, I want that, and then he would be like, fine, I'll get it for your birthday, or once you pass, I will get it to you. So like we lived in this bubble, and then when he died, like everything just popped, because my dad was the only breadwinner of the house, you know, my mom is a housewife, you know. I had to know what it was to not have something, to appreciate something. And I feel like SCA did that for me, you know, like so that I could push myself farther. I feel like if my dad never died and I never went to SCA, I probably would be like a spoiled person and not be appreciative of people. Like when people ask me to assist in certain, you know, programs or charity programs, I go, I'm like, sure, no problem, you know, I'm willing to help because I know how I was in that position, you know, needing the help. Even when I was in third farm though, like we had this retreat called Search, where you go and you find yourself and you find God, you know, at the same time. And I guess when you're in that teenage years, you kind of rebel against your parents. I believe it's natural, you know, and like I just wanted to get away from my mom, you know. We had like a very rocky relationship around that time. And I didn't have the money to go to Search. Actually, a teacher paid it for me to go. Like they said, I think that would really help you, you know. And that was like another turning point for me, you know, because when I got back, like it helped me reflect on all the struggles my mother had to go through, you know, and what I am putting her through. It's like, wow, I was really mean, you know. And then, I mean, it took like a year or two before I could open up to my mom and tell her how I felt, and the same with her, you know. But SCA helped, like not only like, you know, with my growth, but spiritually as well, you know, because I needed that, you know. It helped me grow to who I am today.
I think the mere fact being at SCA, the bond that you get there, that gives you, that change your whole mentality, it's like sisterly love you find there. We have teachers that really compassionate, and they have retreats that you go on. I could tell you the retreat that you go on, and when you come back, it's like you're a whole new person. You feel light. You went there with all your troubles, all your sorrows, everything. When you come back, it's like you're a whole new person. And that retreat was, everybody who goes to that retreat, they can give you that same experience. It's just pure love. SCA changed a lot of people's lives.
That first commitment from Jim, he has stayed faithful. He had stayed faithful because I believe that we both side, like God answered our prayers. He was looking for something, I was looking for something for our growth, and he knew that he made a difference. And so over the years, the commitment stayed, and it increased because we were able to offer more and more scholarships. And where we can, we're able to offer food. And so some students have also been able to benefit in that way. They have been very consistent. You know, every year they've had changes in the directors, and every time they come, they meet the students. So they have a first-hand knowledge of who the students are. Sometimes they meet parents, and they get to hear from these parents and from these students what a difference the scholarship makes. But we have to do an annual report, and they visit us. I would say sometimes it's twice a year, sometimes it's once a year, sometimes it's once every 2 years. But from that time to now, they have given us scholarships every single year.
St. Catherine has been a great partner since 2003. They are still is, and we gladly support them. I personally visited St. Catherine Academy 2 years ago in 2019. I met with the girls and I was happy to see them. But what impresses me more, St. Catherine, is how they integrate their faith in everything that they do. The way they have those girls praying, having retreat, and making their Catholic faith part of their lives. And this is what has impressed me the most, and this is one of the reasons that we continue to support St. Catherine Academy with those scholarships.
We believe it would be at least 50 students that have benefited, and these young ladies have gone on in all walks of life. I think Jim would be proud if he came and he met them and he knew that what he started made such a difference in the lives of these young women, and not only their lives but the lives of their family as well. And Belize wherever they are.
That's our story. Thanks for watching. This was a Guadalupe Media production. For this and more feature stories, you can follow us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or view on Guadalupe Media Channel 96 on CCV or Channel 64 on CBC. You can also tune in on the radio in your car, home, or office at 101.9 FM, and please be sure to download the Guadalupe Media radio app from Google Play or the App Store. Our Blessed Mother, lead us to Jesus.